Here's one. V, D, 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 D. Okay, let's see. It's time to try knight f3 again. Still working on this one. He goes for an English setup. So probably this will transpose into an English opening. Now let's play one more reti type move before we go for the English. But I mean, I normally want to play c4 anyway in this setup. So this is some kind of English opening. A bit unusual than my typical English, because usually I bring the bishop out and this knight out before this knight. And I retain the flexibility of placing the f3 knight on e2 or maybe even h3, going for f4. But this is an okay setup as well, I guess. Okay, so he's going to stop me from hopping into these squares. He may be playing b5 himself to undermine my c-pawn here. I don't think I need to worry about that. And it's a good idea to put this bishop on this diagonal anyway. Maybe discourages from moving his b-pawn forward. Okay. Goes for the h-file attack. Let's see. Well, I don't want to just ignore it, although he's not really set up. Chess Explained does this h-file attack against the English, but he usually puts his bishop on c5 and his pawn on e5. So I expect this is not as effective here, but I don't want to just ignore it either. I could put my knight on that square, but then he would play g5, I guess, and kick the knight. I think I will just stop it with h4, which, as Chess Explained often says, that's a debatable decision because it does give away a square here. Now, what should I do with the d-pawn? Just d3 is normal, but in this case, do I want to play d4 and maybe quickly open things up, since he's wasted some pawn moves here? Opens up the diagonal for this bishop. This bishop already has a nice diagonal. And let's see, can I harass his knight in any way? My pawn is loose. There are no tactics on the queen. That's the nice thing about this particular pawn formation, is that the knight can't hop into these squares to harass the queen. I think I will just play b3 here, defend the c-pawn, and give the bishop some more options. I could play bishop to b2 as well now. And let's see where he decides to castle. He's pushed pawns on both sides of the board. Maybe he's planning to stay in the center with his king. Yeah, so now he gets his bishop to that square, which is a good square, I have to admit. So I can play bishop e6 here, bishop e3 to defend my knight. I can take, but then he has this knight hopping in here. And he has knight to g4 anyway. So let's defend it with a pawn. If I move the knight, I might move the knight, but I don't want the bishop and his knight coordinating on my f2 square. So this e3 move is a sensible move in any case. Okay, so now this bishop should probably be deployed on this diagonal. I think I could castle here too. Let's castle. That defends the bishop. It does give him a target here, but I think I'm safe enough. And let's see. Oh yeah, I should have paused to think about taking on c6 when he moved his pawn to b6. I didn't think about that. If we back up, instead of castling, I should have thought about taking here, because he has to take back with a pawn. Well, it's not clear that really would have helped that much. Okay, so back to the game. Knight takes, bishop takes. Doesn't seem to lead to a whole lot. Why don't I start harassing his bishop? with this move, knight to a4. I'm just going to take off that c5 bishop if I get the chance. If he takes back, I take with a pawn, and that's adequately defended, it seems. He takes there first. So I could take either the bishop or the knight. See, if I take the knight, I take the bishop, he can move his knight with check. Can do a desperado here, but I can play knight takes, and that would be good. So he probably just has to take the knight, and then I take his knight. Yeah, I think it's good for me to get rid of that bishop. He throws in that move. Now, do I have any interesting discoveries here? I can take something. I can take a pawn while hitting the queen. Here. Now I need to recoup too many pieces, I guess. How many? Let's count. I'm down one piece. I take here, takes my knight, I take his knight. That's fine. If I move my knight and he takes it, I take the bishop and his knight escapes, then that's not fine. So I think I have to take the bishop. So he's got that move. Oh, you know, this is kind of clever. If I just move the king, he can move his knight with check, and then take my knight. So it's a tactic designed to win a piece. So I'm trying to look for a move other than moving the king. So that's why this move kind of came to mind. His knight is still hanging. My knight is hanging. Takes my knight. Oh, he takes my knight and defends his knight. Then I pin his knight. It's getting tricky. Then he can defend his knight. He may have gotten away with something here. But he just went for the simple continuation here. Let's take here. He can move his knight with check. But can he really kill me with that threat? Now we'll see. My queen is looking at his g-pawn over here too. He never castled. Yeah, that's what I was expecting. He just takes there. I just drop back. So I think I dodged a bullet there. I think he could have won a piece if he played that right. That'll be interesting to check out in the engine. That was kind of a complicated sequence. That's what happens when you start sticking in those intermediate moves. Of course, sometimes, you know, sometimes it's good. So what is this? I have 6 pawns. He has 7. So he did win a pawn. But his b-pawn is hanging. And I have a bishop versus a knight for the endgame, and he still hasn't castled. So he decides to castle now and give the pawn back. And I think I will take it. Don't like to be down a pawn. And I didn't see any way he could immediately punish me. We'll find out. We'll see. Maybe I'll get my queen trapped. He just goes there. Okay. So my idea was to develop my bishop here. Yeah, so he's going to try and sacrifice or something. Have to get over here to the g-pawn was pinned, so the h-pawn was hanging. So I need to get over there. See, so I could play rook g1, and yeah, looks like I need to. He's going to go after after the g pawn. It looks like. So knight takes, rook takes, pawn takes. I'm still holding on there. My queen maybe is a little short of squares. Okay, yeah, so he brings his queen in to look at that g square as well. Let's see, he can stay on this diagonal. I mean, I could consider throwing in this rook move first. Goes here. Yeah, let's do that. Because it also hits the oh, he goes there with check. Once again, there's a pin. I missed the pin this time. Okay, so that limits what I can do here. I have only one move, right? Well, let's play it and see how this works out. His queen is still hanging. So he kind of has to do everything with check if he's going to make something work here, if he's going to avoid moving his queen. His rook is hanging also. Yeah, so he just went there. So I can take this with check. And then, let's see, he's got a discovered check with his knight, which would pick up a queen. So I should probably get away from that. Maybe just king there. Maybe I could have taken his rook too. But that discovered check picking up my queen was a dangerous threat too. Okay, so he hits my queen. Let's coordinate on that D7 square again. Threatening just rook takes, and I will mate him. Or win the queen. He could bring his king back to C7, but I have a bishop check in that case. That might be interesting. Yeah, I think I should be in good shape here. Let's see, 2 rooks and a bishop versus 1 rook and a knight. And we both have queens. Pawns are even. And both our kings are under some fire. Yeah, I think he just blew his chance earlier, and then he kind of moved too quickly in prosecuting this attack. Didn't think of all the possibilities. Okay, well, let's see if he finds something. He's taking his time on this move. I don't know. There's always something a little shaky about the bishop position here. The sacrifice on G6 would leave the bishop hanging. But I don't see that working, right? Knight takes, rook takes, pawn takes. I have a loose bishop, but I don't know, he doesn't have any great way to exploit it that I can see. Well, he's letting his clock run down, it looks like. Maybe I will edit this part out. Ah, he resigned. Okay. Yeah, so interesting game. I will check that out in the postmortem and see you guys later. Bye.